Now in this video, I'm gonna cover things that you can't necessarily read about. When to res, how to be an aggressive lifeline, when to use your ultimate, which upgrades you should be choosing, and more. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into teaching you how to use Lifeline like a pro. Number one, you need to constantly be resing all the time, especially in the middle of a fight. If your teammates need to ask you for a res and you're not at least on your way to go res them, then you're not using Lifeline at the best of our ability. A lot of people in the middle of a fight, especially if you're not used to playing Lifeline, forget to res until the fight is over. You need to be resing in the middle of a fight. I don't care if somebody is about to shoot you in your domachrome, okay? To be more specific, if your team is in an actual gunfight and your teammate gets knocked, you need to res, and then immediately after you res, you need to get some kind of distance separation from your teammate. The reason you need to be separating yourself is because it gives your opponent two options. Either one, they have to focus the res and shoot the res, which allows you to shoot them for pretty much free. Or two, which is what they should be doing, but most of the time they don't do this, they need to forget about the res and need to focus you. All that's doing is taking attention off of you, which allows you to get shots off for completely free. Which brings us into the second tip. Number two, res bait. First of all, you should be res baiting with any legend. If you don't know what a res bait is, it's when you begin to heal your teammate to try to get your opponent that maybe hasn't healed yet to come out of hiding to try to peek you to stop that res. But Lifeline has the most insane res bait of all time, because not only can she tap the res to try to bait the enemy out of hiding, but the res also never stops. So you can use the res as bait, but it's still a res that you are going to need. So at the worst situation possible is you go back to tip number one. If they do peek and they notice that there's one person being revived and one person shooting at them, they can either focus you and shoot you and allow the res to go off, or they can focus the revive, which allows you to then plant bullets into their face for free. For the third tip and the last tip that has to do specifically with reviving. Number three, you need to be res healing. What I mean by res healing is the second that you go and tap for the res, you need to be throwing out your drone immediately after. This is extremely helpful for not only your teammate, but also yourself. This lets your teammate do one of two things. They can either focus on just shielding up, allowing them to save meds, and also probably letting them come back to the fight with full health faster, or it lets them get a little bit of a health buffer, because if you are still in a fight and people hear a res, they will more than likely push that res. You need to make this a habit, and even if you're not in a fight, this is very important to do. For tip number four, we're going to talk about everything that has to do with your shield upgrades. From the beginning of the match, your goal and your priority is to get to purple shield. The reason being is because 100% of the time, unless somehow all three of your teammates already has a gold knockdown, you need to be picking the upgrade that gives you your gold knockdown in your ultimate. I don't understand the people that choose to have a self revive. I don't get it. And obviously you need to be taking that gold knockdown every single time unless you have a Newcastle on your team. That being said, this also means that you are the most important player on your team to get to purple. So if you have comms with your teammates, they need to be allowing you to grab the full Evo caches, because getting that gold knockdown on your team completely changes the whole game. Now let's talk about the first upgrade, the blue upgrade. 99% of the time, I would recommend for you to go with the upgrade that reduces the cooldown of your drone. With that reduced timer, you can have your drone up literally at all times. This means that there is theoretically constant free health healing for your entire team, which also allows you to free up more bag space for either more ammo or shields or grenades or whatever you want. And for the fifth tip and the last tip that I'll give for you guys today, number five, use your ultimate as cover. You've probably heard this before, and this can be situational, but do not underestimate the amount of cover that your ultimate can give you. You can absolutely use this to give yourself a little bit more of an advantage. Instead of throwing your ultimate in random spots in the middle of a fight, try to place it in a spot that'll give you cover. Try to place it in a spot that'll actually help you. Another little side tip is that if you feel like you're about to get your purple shield, save your ultimate if you have it. If you're close to getting your purple shield, save it, because the second you hit purple, you are going to try to put down your ultimate so that you can get that knockdown. That's pretty much all I had for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I helped you and gave you a couple pointers to be a better lifeline. And if I did, think about leaving a like on the video. Think about subscribing to the channel. It helps me a lot. And you can also treat this as a PSA. There's a lot of butt cheeks lifelines out there. And if your friend is a butt cheeks lifeline, send him this video. Let him know he's a butt cheeks lifeline, okay? Other than that, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Turn this shit off.